I always forget.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our regularly scheduled February monthly meeting for the council. Thanks for everybody showing up tonight, and we'll hope to have another good meeting tonight. So we will start with the pledge, and I will lead us in that tonight. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Cuthbert has agreed to lead us in prayer tonight.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this afternoon humbly asking for discernment. We're asking for your guidance in helping us be good stewards, Lord. We're so thankful that you're in our lives and that we can feel you throughout the day. I ask you, Lord, to be in all of the places of the countries that are in turmoil right now. And Lord, allow us to get everything back on track. We love you, Lord, and are grateful you're in our lives. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Okay, so we will open the regular meeting and start with the approval of the minutes from the January 27th, 2026 meeting. Those were circulated prior to the meeting. Is there any discussion from the board tonight?
Mr. President, I move we approve the minutes as presented.
And I second that.
All right, motion's been properly made and seconded by Councilman Faulkner and Councilwoman Lake. All those in favor of approval of the January 27th minutes, sign aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Next item on our agenda are the additional appropriations for tonight. Jessica, take it away.
Ordinance number 2026-HCCO-08 additional appropriations. Whereas it's been determined that it's now necessary to appropriate more money than was appropriated in the 2026 annual budget, now therefore be it ordained by the County Council of Howard County, Indiana, that the expenses of the taxing unit for the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named and for the purposes specified, subject to the laws governing the same. County General, Coroner, part-time, $2,500. County Extension, computer maintenance, $6,806.11. Total County General Fund, $9,306.11. Cumulative Capital Development Fund, Information Systems, Equipment, $24,000. Total Cumulative Capital Development Fund, $24,000. Lit Correctional Facilities Fund, Contract Services, $1 million. Contract Services Doctor, $261,419. Total Lit Correctional Facilities Fund, $1,261,419. Public Safety Fund, Contract Services, $4,900,000. Total Lit Public Safety Fund, $4,900,000. Drug Court Grant Fund, Graduation Supplies, $300. Special Projects and Incentives, $3,500. Drug screens, $6,000. Participant needs, $8,550. Total drug court grant fund, $18,350. Reentry court grant fund. Graduation supplies, $300. Special projects and incentives, $3,500. Travel and training, $1,850. Drug screens, $6,000. Participant needs, $10,000. Total reentry court grant fund, $21,650. Total additional appropriations for all funds, $6,234,725.11.
Thank you very much, Jessica. All right, first up on the agenda, we have Judge Tate with his drug court and reentry court grant funds.
Okay, I'll try to be quick, maybe not as quick as the last time, but as you guys will recall, the in the end of July, Howard Superior Court 3 was assigned both the drug court and reentry court as problem-solving courts. The magistrate, Judge Shepard, is the one that oversees those courts. However, because the magistrate works for the judges, doesn't have a dedicated court, I agreed to allow Superior Court 3 to be the court that the courts would be assigned to. And then, as you're well aware, that budgets are due in August. We had just taken over this. We knew that we're funded through 3 different sources: county general, user funds, or user fees, and grant funds. And we knew we were getting grant money. We just weren't quite sure how we wanted to allocate that grant money across the accounts. So we've obtained the grant money. We are now here. Now we've got a better handle on this, and we are setting forth how we want those grant funds to be allocated to each of our individual accounts. They're spread over, you'll see the 5 different areas. There's incentives, drug testing, participant needs, graduation supplies, and training. And one of the things that I've been, that we've both been trying to do here is look at ways to maximize the use of the 3 areas where that funding is coming from. And probably one of the biggest expenses that we have, reoccurring expenses, is the drug testing. And you'll note that we've got drug testing at $6,000 for reentry court and $6,000 for drug court. And we'll probably run over that, but we can also use our participant needs. One is $10,000 for reentry, and the other is $8,550 for drug court. We'll be able to use those participant needs to pay for that drug testing, but that's going to be the biggest bulk of our expense. And I think last year we had, the way the budget was, I think we ended up spending somewhere in the neighborhood of $8,000 or $9,000 out of user fees to pay for drug testing. Well, the way we're allowed to designate these funds, we cannot pay for salaries. We have a coordinator that obviously well aware of, the county funds bulk of that coordinator's salary. We can't pay for her salary out of our grant funding, but we can pay for her salary out of user fees. So in my estimation, any money that we spent last year out of user fees towards drug testing, we could have been better spent if we apply that towards the salary of our coordinator. Benefits, and again, instead of sending money back to the state, I think it benefits our county using those funds and sending it back to the county. So that's kind of where we're at here. If you have any specific questions about the numbers, what those actual, what the actual incentives and other needs are, Judge Shepard certainly can fill you in on that. But basically, at this point, I'm just asking that we fill in the accounts with the money that's available.
Okay, any questions for Judge Tate?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate, for those that aren't, in the finances on the county side, there's just so many, there's not so many, there's buckets that you can spend out of, but there's certain things you can spend, and so just trying to figure all that out can be so perplexing. So thank you for taking a deep dive into that, trying to allocate the funds, the grant funds, the best that we can, so.
Just to figure it here, Judge Shepard and our coordinator have done the heavy lifting. I'm just the one up here telling you guys what it is that we're requesting, but I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you. So we're going to have a small change. Sheriff Asher has asked to go next. He came up here from a conference, and so we thank you for coming up here and interrupting your conference, and thanks for being here, Sheriff.
Appreciate you squeezing me in, and I apologize for everybody that's, I just shoved out of the way. I didn't get it here soon enough to beg forgiveness, or ask permission, I should say. So I know we were here last month doing an additional appropriation out of 1233. Lots of questions, lots of things to ask. We've had some meetings since then. I've talked to a few of you on the phone, some texts, emails. Hopefully you guys all received my email over the weekend with the 24-hour nursing coverage. Budgetary cost, originally we were asking for $261,419. That was what the Form 1 was. I talked to Madam Auditor about just leaving it the way it was. we're gonna ask for less. So what I'm gonna be asking for, is $183,682.50. Commissioners are gracious enough to throw in $30,000 out of the opioid funds. We're gonna use $25,000 out of commissary to be able to make this happen. So that's what the additional appropriation is. So it sounds like a used car salesman. This is what we were asking for, but now we're only asking for this. So, but $183,682.50 out of 1233 fund.
Okay. Yeah, so just to clarify, so that would be essentially 10 months, the rest of
That
this
gets us
year on
through
the
the end of the year,
contract.
correct, yes. And then
Yep.
obviously at budget time, I'll work out the budget for next year.
Yeah, and,
Alan has gracious enough, he checked over the contract for the addendum. Didn't see any issues with that, so we ran it through legal first as well.
yeah. And then another comment I have is, yes, the commissioners at a meeting, I think it was last week, they came out and publicly supported this with those opioid funds of 30,000. So, yeah, that's correct. Any questions for Sheriff?
Oh, I don't have a question, but I was going to say that I've always felt like we should have 24-hour nursing there. But honestly, I was very undecided on this just because of the cost.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. So I started trying to run some numbers with the help of some AI. And because my thought was, I wonder if we could hire 2 nurses without going through this company and maybe save some money. And as I ran those numbers, if we hire 2, I think they're LPNs, I think is what we're getting through this, I believe, is that correct?
No, RNs.
Or well, these are RNs, okay. Well, that makes it even more so because for us to hire 2 RNs,
Yeah.
just doing it ourselves, it was going to come out to around $280,000. And so, this seems like a lot of money, and it is, but we couldn't save any by doing it ourselves, which originally I thought maybe we could, so.
Yeah, it's difficult. Just ask Lisa Washington, they're very expensive.
You guys had a very good meeting. You know, you said you would have a meeting after our meeting last month where we could come and ask questions.
Yes.
Get to understand more. And you brought the people who are working with the company.
Yes.
And I was just so impressed with the people that you brought with you because they're addressing the direct needs of what's going on out there. And I appreciated that. The other thing I appreciate, when you start hiring nurses outside of a program that's already existing, I'm afraid you're gonna get into problems, and I think keeping it all under one umbrella as long as you can, it's better for the operation.
I think so too.
I just want to say that I thank you for the summary that you put together. Appreciate that and the feedback some of the feedback that you gave on some questions that actually Lisa sent us. So thank you both for that communications.
I'm like Judge Tate, I'm the figurehead. I had somebody do that for me, but we appreciate it none the same. I'll take the credit though, Frank. I appreciate it.
We like nurses in our family.
Yes, got a few. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Okay, so next on the agenda, we have Coroner David Granger, and I will get to you later. I've not forgot about you, okay?
I think they're all aware by now that Dr. Seeling's retiring from the coroner's office in the end of March. So there's a 20-day period where he's going to be using vacation before he officially retires to come back and work one more day. So I'm asking for $2,500. I ran some numbers with Jessica and all to at least get us pretty close. It doesn't cover it all, but it cover the majority of the time he'll be on vacation. That I'd like to use that money for the incoming chief deputy to work the majority of those hours, as well as any of the other deputies if need be. So that's the $2,500 I'm asking for.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council or comments?
Well, I'm certainly grateful for the time Dr. Seeley has spent as coroner with the county government. Did an excellent job, and we just wish you the very, very best as coroner, and thank you for all the work you're doing. We really appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. Anything else?
Thank you for your communication in advance so that we could understand this and
Sure,
work a
perfect.
solution out. So
All
thank you
right,
for
yeah,
that.
Jessica helped me with it, so she's
Yeah.
gonna help. So thank you.
Lots of praise going on tonight for other than people than department heads, so. Next up, we have County Extension, Allison Hillis.
Hello. My number is actually broken out into two different chunks for me. Doesn't seem so for you. I purchased computers in November of last year, was planning on using last year's budget for it. Unfortunately, due to timing of receiving invoices, we couldn't submit it last year. So we got that invoice in January. That number is $3,606.11. And then we cycle through our computer purchases. So we try not to purchase all computers at one time. So thinking ahead for this year, we are in need of another 3 computers. I work with Purdue IT to gather an estimate that is right now. So that was looking at $1,400 per computer. Using the current budget that we have, we would need an additional $3,200 to offset costs for this year.
Sounds
Okay, any questions for Allison and her request?
good. Good job.
Can I make a comment?
Sure. Oh, yeah, sorry. I should always say comments, I'm sorry.
I had the opportunity to go to a cooking class with Allison yesterday morning, and it was actually quite interesting. I'm by no means a cook. I got a good cook that I go to every evening. But thank you for doing that, Allison. That was really good. Part of the food access team in Howard County, and some interesting and useful, and I'd say pretty cost-effective meals. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
How is that program evolving now? I know in the beginning, we were just trying to get donations of food and how to get them to people. And I haven't been to the meetings, I apologize, but where are we in that program now? Have we accomplished what we wanted to in the beginning?
So with the Food Access Alliance?
Yes.
So we are making great strides, but the unfortunate reality is there's always going to be work to be done in the realm of food access. Krista Pullen works now under the Purdue Extension umbrella. She serves as the Food Access Coordinator, but also the Director of the Food Access Alliance. She came on board, I think, in September, and then we had the SNAP crisis, which she quickly jumped into in supporting to get food to people, additional foods and different resources and things like that. So I am dangerous to speak on this because it's not my whole job, but I would be glad to bring Krista here. We are definitely working towards education, which is part of the program that Frank talked about. It's a Cooking Matters, so I'm looking to develop a volunteer cooking education program, so that way I've got volunteers to go out and help with some nutrition and cooking education. Still looking at, access and communication and things like that are some of the goals. So I'd be happy to coordinate getting Krista here to share more with you all.
That would be good, because that's really important, and I should be more involved, but it's hard to get involved in everything, but appreciate the work that you're doing. I really
Yeah.
do.
Well, it's definitely a team effort, so. Any other questions?
One, or actually two. So the 3,606.11, that was basically something that was like an encumbrance, if you will, that just didn't, you ordered them, they just didn't get invoiced until this year.
Correct.
All right. And then, is there any thought, or would it be beneficial to work with IT to get your computers, since we're already doing computers through IT, or is this something that has to come specifically from Purdue?
It has to go through Purdue at this point, but that's a very valid
Yeah,
question.
okay. I just was curious on that.
And Purdue does work to make sure that they are, maintaining costs and appropriate equipment and things like that,
Sure.
so it's,
Yeah, they're probably
cohesive.
buying more computers than what Jeremy is in a year, but, yeah.
yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Speaking of Jeremy, our Director of Information Systems.
Good evening. This is a this additional appropriation for the fund 1138 cumulative capital fund for the equipment account is continuation from last month's meeting. At last month's meeting, I requested additional appropriation to purchase the servers all up front instead of spreading that cost over 5 years to save approximately, I think it was like $20,000 financing costs, and you approved that. However, the quote that I got was last year. From last year, when we got the quote for one of the 3 competing solutions, when we went to go purchase it this year, the price was increased due to, they tell me, increased memory costs due to AI. And it's all the hardware, it's all going up. And AI is a great thing, but it is leading to a shortage of some electronics. So, and I tried to ask for it last month, except there was a deadline for advertising requirements. So to get the full amount, that's why I'm here tonight, requesting an additional $24,000 in that account to account for the price difference of the servers.
All right, anybody have questions or comments for Jeremy?
The same thing that you had. Great communication with the council. Great.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's just a tough one. I think I'm aware of the shortage of memory chips because of the boom in the AI and the data centers. And it's supply and demand. And unfortunately, we need them. And the price is going up, but we still need them. So good luck to you. Appreciate all
Right.
all that you do here.
Well,
And
thank you.
keeping the county government running.
I'll do what I can.
Yeah, and I guess I'll finish up with a couple of things. So one, I just was visiting with my local PC repair guy this week, and he told me that indeed there is a shortage on memory for RAM and stuff for computers, so you're correct in that assertion. And I just want to thank you for looking out for us. I know this was an upfront cost that we're going to cover, but it's going to save us instead of doing interest over 5 years. So thank you for watching out for our constituents and our budget. So appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Okay, next up on the agenda is a couple items that I have decided to present on. So if you will allow me to present from up here, I will be happy to do that. So the first item is Lit Correctional Facilities Fund 1233. We have a line item for contract services for $1 million. In fact, what I probably will do is add this and the Fund 1235 because they paired together nicely. So, so there's $1 million being requested out of 1233. And there is $4.9 million being requested out of the Lit Public Safety Fund 1235. So, council, before you are those numbers. So, in short, the county has entered into contracts for construction of, or not construction, I guess, but for site work and preliminary survey work at the site for the new jail. And these contracts, once we dug into them here a little bit closer this year, had an estimated cost of about $5.5 million to be paid by July 1. This was not part of our budget when we set it last fall. We just established the new 1235 fund for public safety lit. So that fund just started. We could not advertise the expenses in that last year until we had the fund made at the end of October. Now that we're in January, we are getting revenue into this fund. Unfortunately, there's not quite enough in that fund by the end of June to pay for this bill. So the bill's coming due. So what we have proposed is to do a $4.9 million additional out of the 1235 fund, and then supplement that with $1 million from the 1233 fund that fund has a healthy cash balance and can support this. It's just a matter of trying to get the cash from the funds to pay for these bills. Both of these funds can support it, and it was all part of our plan all along to do this. We just didn't know we'd have to pay some cash up front. So I know it's a large number before you, but I decided to present this as one big lump sum. That way we don't have to come in subsequent months and keep asking for additional monies. So with that, I'll entertain any questions that anyone has up here or comments.
Thanks for the explanation. I thought it was pretty clear.
Good, thank you, Frank.
That is true.
Anybody else?
Appreciate all your leadership on this, Mr. President. And, it's a lot of money, but we don't build a new jail every day, and they're built to last. And they don't build them for free. So this is the cost of doing business.
Yep.
Well, and I asked our president what the 1235 fund is, because that was a new one that I did not know, and so that is where, now, this money is appropriated and going into that. So how much more money? We'll be using it for other things, is that right?
That is correct, yes. We will
Right.
be using it for the bond payment is the
Right.
plan, that fund. So we created the fund. There was no line item expenses in it. So since there will be cash to pay these, I'm asking as the council to allow us to add these line items into the fund so that we can pay for the contract service work being done. And then at some point, we may come back and reimburse the 1233 fund since we are borrowing from that fund to make that account whole. But it was just a short-term patch to keep us moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, if there's no questions, I have an updated total at the bottom unless there are other changes. With Sheriff Asher's reduction of the contract services for the doctor, the total additional appropriations for all funds would be $6,156,988.61. Did I say that correctly? Perfect. I can repeat that if I need to.
Please, what was it?
$6,156,988.61 with the reduction that Sheriff Asher proposed. Is there any discussion from the council?
Are you ready for a motion?
Yes, sir, if you're ready.
I move we approve these additional appropriations as President Darrell just presented with the revised number, $6,156,988.61.
Second.
Okay, I have a properly made motion from Councilman Faulkner and a second from Councilman Roberts. All those in favor of approving the motion on ordinance number 2026 HCCO 02, I'm sorry, 08, assign aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, additional appropriations carry. All right, so there are no transfers tonight, so we will move on to the salary ordinance amendment. Madam Auditor.
Ordinance number 2026-HCCO-09, salary ordinance amendments. An ordinance amending and increasing staffing and salary authorization to be paid county employees for the calendar year effective January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026, as originally approved for the year 2026, except where otherwise noted. Be it ordained by the Council of Howard County, Indiana, that for the said fiscal year, the following salary amendments are approved as additional changes to the basic salary ordinance for the same fiscal year. Necessary personal services appropriations have been approved previously to support the required expenditure of necessary funds. County General, Coroner, part-time, $2,500.
Okay, you've heard the salary ordinance amendment. Any discussion on that or motions?
Mr. President, I move that we accept the amendment as presented.
Second.
All right. Motion has been properly made and seconded by Councilman Sanders and Councilwoman Lake. All those in favor of 2020, the salary ordinance amendment 2026 HCCO-09, assign aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ordinance carries. All right. Is there any old business for the council tonight? Hearing none, is there any new business tonight? Yes, there is. So we have the confirmatory abatement resolution 2026 HCCR 02. Am I reading that right? Merrill Brothers. I know we have Carson and Alex here tonight, and they are here if you guys have any questions or comments for them as well. Alan, we don't need to read this, do we?
By title only.
Title only? Okay, so we'll start by having Madam Auditor read it by title only, and then have some discussion.
Howard County Council Resolution Number 2026 HCCR 02, a confirmatory resolution of the Howard County Council for the designation of an economic revitalization area.
Okay, if you remember, we had the initial, what do you want to call this? The initial one of these a month ago, and that passed unanimously. And so we have to come back for the confirmatory on the second reading to adopt this. Any more discussion on this? You guys want to say anything, or are you good?
Yeah, we're very thankful for your guys' consideration, and we love Howard County and want to continue to grow here.
Great. All right, if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move we approve the confirmatory abatement resolution on second reading as presented.
Second.
All right, I have a motion made by Councilman Alexander and Councilman Cuthbert. All those in favor of adopting this resolution, assign aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, it is approved. Okay, other council business. Lisa Washington has reached out, and she would like to come up and speak, I believe, on the jail nursing stuff. So come on down, the floor is yours, ma'am.
So, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Lisa Washington. I live at 3156 Woodfield Drive in Kokomo, Indiana. And I just wanted to say a few words about the nursing at the county jail. I have been a nurse for over 30 years. In that time, I have had the privilege and honor to work in a number of settings as a staff nurse, as an RN case manager. I started my career at Bronson Methodist Hospital in Kalamazoo, Michigan. For those of you who don't know, that's where I met my husband. Bronson Methodist Hospital was a 430-bed hospital. I started off as a staff nurse. I became an RN case manager. When I moved to Kokomo, my first job here was an RN case manager at a 19-bed long-term acute care hospital. From there, I came to Howard, it was Howard Regional then. I always have to make sure I say the right thing. I also became a nurse manager there. The one thing that I can tell you about all of these hospitals is they had nursing for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 days, 52 weeks a year. And that was to ensure that patients or clients however you want to refer to the people who receive care. They receive that care to prevent complications from either acute or chronic conditions. In my current job as the executive director for a nonprofit health organization here in Howard County, I can attest to you that my nonprofit, like so many other health services, we know what happens when people who do not have insurance or access to health care, what happens to them. When I was a nurse manager of about 60 employees at Howard Regional, I can tell you what happens when there is not a shift of nurses, because I had doctors, nurses, and other departments that had no problem in coming to tell me what was wrong from the following shift. So I can't imagine what it's like for the nurses who come on shift at the jail when there is not nursing coverage. Those nurses have to always be behind the 8 ball. But I recognize that there is a financial cost associated with what's going on out there. But I want to leave you with a few thoughts of things that I've learned during my nursing career. And I implore you to consider the human cost of not having nurses. First, the number one killer in this country is heart disease. As I said before, we have lots of people in this community who do not have access to health care. And some of those may be the people who are landing in jail. So we know nurses are the eyes, the ears, and the hands of the doctors when they're not there. If someone is experiencing, an MI or chest pain, there is a limited amount of time before complications set in. The first 10 minutes are the most important time before they suffer muscle damage. Within 30 minutes, irreversible damage takes place. Within 2 hours, there's 80% of damage that cannot be replaced. Strokes, there's a golden hour. If there is not care given to someone within that time period, neurological damage cannot be corrected. And I'm going to say my forte, because it's what I do the most of right now, is diabetes. In this country, we have over 30 million people who are diabetics. We have 11 million people walking around who don't know they're diabetic. And we have close to 100 million people who are pre-diabetics. In Indiana, we have 700,000 people, or 12% of our population who are diabetics. Blood sugars can go high or low, and those can be medical emergencies. So if we have inmates out there in the jail that are experiencing any of these things, we're setting the county up for liability. So again, I want you to think about that. And I thank you for listening. And it is my goal and my organization's goal to make Howard County the healthiest community that it can be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate your perspective, and as you were inquiring some more about this, and I appreciate your passion too. So thank you very much for that tonight.
Well, I just have a comment, and thank you for what you do. We have several nurses in my family, and every time that I've gone into the hospital for whatever reason, 90% or 95% of the nurses are great. When you get one who's not as great, your experience is not very good. And the nurses run that hospital, not the doctors.
You know what, I tell my husband that all the time. And I will also tell you, that's why we grew our own little nurse. So I have a daughter who graduated from nursing school last year.
Oh, excellent, cool. Yeah, thank you for that reminder of the human cost, not just the financial cost. Thank you so much for that. All right, is there any other council business from the board tonight? I have a couple of things. So I just wanted to share that Frank and Martha and I, we went down to the Association of Indiana Counties legislative meeting. Seems like a month ago, because it about was, but early February. And so that was really good. We got to hear what's coming at the State House and changes they're working on, so that was good. And I appreciate Martha. She sits on the Ledge Committee, and we meet every 2 weeks on Friday, getting updates on what's happening, real-time updates, and reaching out to our state leaders if we need to try to rally the troops for a cause for the counties. So,
Can I add to that?
Absolutely.
Okay, because Daryl sits on that committee as well. And we've never seen the budget or the legislation for budgeting for counties like it is now. I mean, it is so important, and they're making decisions. So, and bless Daryl's heart, we're trying to keep up with them, and and they're going to end on the 27th. And we don't even know for sure where they're going to end yet, you know, on some of these taxes that they're changing. So, it's quite a challenge at this point, trying to make the budget work for this year and then work for next year too. And sometimes we don't always get good communication. So, you might pray for the council that we get good communication and that we keep our make ends meet, you know, and we keep a sound budget that protects our county. I think that works pretty well when we do that, and we've got great people on the council, so thank you.
May I make a comment?
absolutely.
So, my perspective might be a little bit different from some of the other people's, because what I thought was the highlight of the conference was the lunchtime, because we were divided into areas, and our area happens to be the Northwest. It goes by counties, and we're kind of in the furthest
We are.
southeast corner of the Northwest area of the county council. So we were to sit with other county council people in the Northwest, and for some reason, I landed with the folks from Lake County, and Darrell came, and Martha came, and our discussion was all about the Chicago Bears moving to Hammond, Indiana, and that was a big topic with those folks from Lake County, and it was a lot of fun thinking about that.
Yeah,
So,
it was, yeah. Yeah, so yeah.
It was a good conference.
Yeah, thank you guys for your update on that as well. Yeah, and we just continue to have meetings. We're still meeting with different subgroups and talking about the jail project and all that, so. So our next regularly scheduled monthly meeting will be on March 24th at 4 PM right here, unless I mess that up. And that's all I have for
Can I
tonight.
make one other comment?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, once a month, the superintendent at Western, Mark Du Bois, has a thing that he calls Panther Perks, and it's an invitation to the community to come and talk and just learn about what's going on at Western. I walked in there about, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, and I see Brian. I associate Brian with Northwestern. And Brian's sitting with a nice gentleman, and he says, Frank, this is my dad. And Brian's dad jumped center for the Western Panthers back in the mid-'50s when they created the Western, we call it the South Gym now. I always used to call it the middle school gym, the South Gym. And it was a very nice event to recognize your father at that thing. And we got a nice picture with, there was a W for the Western School. It was the original flooring for the Western School in the middle school gym. And history there with your dad. I was glad to meet him. So, and it was fun.
Thank you.
And with your whole family, too.
Thank you.
And offered the opportunity to ask questions. I did have a question, and I said to Mr. Alexander, I said, what did you say to your son, Brian, your oldest son, Brian, that caused him to go into education, public education? He's an English teacher, a literature teacher. And his dad said, he really wanted to coach basketball, that's why. So, congrats.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool. So, all right, if there's nothing else for the good of the cause, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded by Councilman Roberts and Councilwoman Lake. All those in favor of adjournment, assign aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.